Om. Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Yo Antah Pravishya Mama Vacham Imam Prasuptam Sanjeevayatyakila Shakti Dharaswadhamna अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं समचरणसरोजं सान्द्रनीलाम्बुदाभं जघननिहितपाणिं ननं मण्डनानाम् तरुणतुलसीमालां कन्धरं कञ्जनेत्रं सदयधवलहासं विठ्ठलं चिन्तयामि विठ्ठलं चिन्तयामि. Pranams to the Lord. Pranams to all the Mahatmas in tonight's Eknathi Bhagawat session. We are in chapter 8 and we have finished first 86 mantras, aiming to do next minimum 83 mantras for today. So we start from 87. If you want to know how the God protects his devotee, please consider that Atman is neither male nor female. Only the body has this division. The God gives to devotees the experience that it is the God who is the female, and thus the devotee is not attracted to the female or male as an opposite sex. 88. Those who see woman and by losing the sense of discrimination run to enjoy her surely suffer from tremendous pains. 89. Looking at the shining flame of fire, the moth is attracted to it and jumps towards that flame and is burnt. 90. Thus, Maya, by the body of woman, allures men. But this happens only in the case of those men who are against the devotion of Sri Hari. 91. Now I have regarded the blue beetle as my guru for the quality of deriving our own benefit without giving any trouble to others. Please listen to that quality. स्तोकं स्तोकं ग्रसेद् ग्रासं देहो वर्तेत यावता गृहान गृहान हिंसन्नातिष्ठेत् वृत्तिं माधुकरीं मुनिः. Meaning of the verse. The sage should take a little food at a time, as he is living on food and has to maintain his body. He should wait at the doors of the houses, following the method of taking a little food, just like a little nectar is taken by the blue beetle from each flower. 92. The blue beetle is wise enough to delicately collect nectar from a flower without disturbing the petals of that flower. Thus, it accomplishes its purpose. 93. Similar is the case of a yogi who collects only a handful of grains from going to each household and thus does not give trouble to the householder. 94. He takes only little from each without considering whether the giver is rich or poor. 95. The blue beetle enters a lotus flower, but being attracted to the nectar stays in it for more time, and thus it is held captive when the lotus flower shuts itself. 96. That little creature is so strong that it penetrates hard wood for making a nest, but that poor one is held up captive in the lotus flower. It does not think of hurting the flower because of enticement. 97. A sannyasi is also attached to something and is held up at a place. It becomes a bondage to him by his being involved there. अणुभ्यश्च महद्भ्यश्च शास्त्रेभ्यः कुशलो नरः सर्वतः सारमादद्यात् पुष्पेभ्य इव षट्पदः. Meaning of the verse. A skillful man should take the essential from the smaller or a larger books of scriptures, nay, from every place, just as blue beetle collects honey from all flowers. 98. The blue beetle does not spare a flower because it is a small one. it enters that flower also for little honey. 99. Similarly, there may be larger lotus flowers in full bloom. It enters these also and takes honey and goes away. 100. Similarly, the yogi does not bother to study all the details of any smaller or larger book, but takes from each what is essential part. 101. He gives respect to the state of mind merged into Brahman as described in a book. But as he regards the etymology described in other books of songs in praise of God, where the world is said to be emanating from Brahman. 102. He respects the opinion of a scholar and also accepts a good advice from an ordinary man who is casually talking to him and profits by the essential truth. 103. For example, bride behaves very cordially with the parents of her husband in order to please him. And just as she loves her husband, she is kind to servants in the house. 104. A swan separates the milk and the water. Similarly, a yogi using his common sense takes only that which is most important part of any teaching. 105. Please remember, oh, the king with great arms, that the most important teaching is that one should have faith in the fact that God is in every being. If he has this faith, he has never harmed anything. 106. One who is concerned with the essentials only while living in this vast world is the real yogi. In this way, Avadhuta explained to kind Yadu some of the gurus with their qualities. 107. He further said, O king, I have treated as my guru two types of flies. One is honeybee and the other is housefly. Sayantanam shvasantam va na sangrinhata bhikshitam panipatrodharamatraha vakshikeva na sangrahi. Meaning of the verse. The material gathered by begging should not be kept in store for evening or the next day. It should be collected only enough for one-time dinner, our own hand being the pot. Just like a fly, we should not store anything. 108. O king, look at the housefly. When it sits on a lump of sugar, it puts particles of sugar in its mouth by its front hands, but it has no storage. 109. The fly never thinks that a certain food article will be useful for evening or tomorrow morning and does not keep the stock. 110. The yogi who is a sannyasi should not also keep anything in store. He should take the alms in his hand and eat them. 111. To him, his palm is the begging bowl and his stomach is the pot of storage. He has no other vessel or house to keep his food articles. Sayantanam shvasantanam va na sangrunhita bhikshukah makshikaiva sangrinhan sahatena vinashyati. Meaning of the verse. The yogi who begs for alms should not keep anything in stock. If he stores for future, he is destroyed altogether with the food, just like the honey bee. 112. A beggar should not keep the stock of his food even for evening or the next day. If he stores and tries to maintain it, he perishes with it. In this regard, honeybee is my guru. 113. The honeybee selects a place for its honeycomb which is not easily reachable and stores honey in it with great hard work. But when the honey collectors come, they become the cause of its death. 114. This honeycomb is built at unapproachable high sites on the cliffs of mountains, and the honey collectors go to those difficult heights also for collecting honey for trade. 115. They trash the honeycomb and even burn the honeybees. In this way, the stock of that good honey causes death. 116. Looking at this tragedy of the honeybees in nature, the beggar, the devotee, the yogi, or any gentleman should not store anything for future because it is destined to perish. 117. One should do his duty and earn merit of good deeds, but not knowing the secret, stupid people go in for storing money because they are greedy and miserly. 118. Money is a fruit, the name of which fruit is destruction and the root of annihilation. Please recognize what I say. The largest field where destruction is definite is woman. 119. The main cause, the root cause of destruction of life is in the form of gold and woman. The more the attachment to these, the more sorrow is there in the worldly life. 120. You should bear in mind very well that man is the real God living in this society if he is completely free from any interest in the money and woman. One, if he is free, completely free. 121. One who is concerned to remain happy should not have relationship with women. For this wisdom, I regard elephant as my guru. Padapi yuvatim bhikshuhu na sprushet daravimaphi sprushan kariva badhyete karinya anga sangataha. Meaning of the verse. A monk should not touch a woman even by foot, and even a doll made of wood. If he touches, he'll be bound as an elephant who is caught when he mates a female elephant. 122. The elephant who has a long life. Man is nothing compared to the elephant. But the elephant, when trying to mate the female elephant, is caught by man. 123. Elephant does not allow a man to stand before him, but the same elephant is made slave of the man when there is a female elephant which he desires. He obeys every word of the man and has to sustain the poking of the goad on his head. 124. The yogis who wish to conquer the worldly life should run away if they come face to face with women. 125. They should not look at women, not even talk to them. As soon as they see a woman, they should hurriedly leave the place. 126. If even a wooden doll is fallen in the path, a wise person should not kick it away because an inanimate form of a woman may also disturb the man. 127. Aniruddha, the grandson of Sri Krishna, saw Usha in his dream. Chitralekha found him out through the drawing a portrait of him, and she kidnapped him away from Dwaraka. And though a great god like Krishna was his protector, Banasura made that young Aniruddha a captive in his house jail. 128. When the Lord Krishna hastened there in order to release him, the Lord Shankar tried to prevent him, and a bitter fight between the two ensued, in which all weapons and missiles were freely used. 129. In this way, though the great Hara and Hari came to fight, the young Aniruddha was tied to the girl in his dream, and though efforts were made to rescue him, they failed. How far could others be successful? 130. Aniruddha is the name indicating that he was one who could not be bound. When such a man was captivated by girl Usha, what would have been his plight if a woman in real life and not a dream girl would have held him to her? Who would have rescued him? 131. People call themselves by pride as males, but at the end become slaves at the feet of women. How can they be freed from the clutches? Fall is definite when one accepts the allurement of woman. Nadi gachet striyam pratnyaha karhichin mrityum atmanaha baladhikai sahanyeta gajairanyir gajo yatha. Meaning of the verse. A wise man should not go near a woman, which is his virtual death. He could be killed by more powerful men, just as the elephant is overpowered by other elephants. 132. While a male elephant is mating with a female one, other elephants who are stronger come and fight with that elephant and kill him. 133. By killing that elephant, the other male, who is the strongest, goes on having sex with that female as well as other female elephants. So, a woman is the cause of death. 134. It was due to Indra's involvement with Ahalya, the wife of Muni Gautama, that Indra was cursed by Gautama. The demon Bhasmasura was likewise destroyed. 135. The two brothers Sunda and Upasunda saw the most beautiful heavenly Tilottama and being greedy about her, forgot their brotherhood in the fit of anger. 136. They fought with each other, coveting for her, and were dead by each other's weapons. And both of them did not get that Apsara. So, please remember that woman is the root cause of death. 137. There is another story. The Lord Sri Krishna, God's incarnation that he was, did not hesitate to take away the intended wife of King Shishupala by giving him lot of harassment. 138. In short, the persons may be human, gods, or animals. The attachment of a woman is the cause of their end. By her allurement, a man gets attached and quarrels are caused due to woman only. 139. To be in the company of harlots, it's like going to door to door is like going to the door of death. So, even at the risk of death, one should not be attached to women of low character. 140. Now, please do not misunderstand that a prostitute destroys a man, while to be attached to one's wife is safer and man is not destroyed. 141. Constant enjoyment with our own wife is also a cause of increased desire, and when desire makes man arrogant and offensive, he is doomed. 142. In short, to be involved with a woman is very dangerous. Even once to be in the company of a woman will drive man towards the hell. 143. For him, hell is certain. Why discuss what is the way out? The women of bad character are themselves embodiments of hell. 144. Women and money are both the greatest scourges in this world. In being mad for them, the possibility of self knowledge is very far away. The result is definitely the death of that man. तदेयन्नोपभोग्यञ्च लुब्धैर्यदु लुब्धैर्यद्दुःखसञ्चितं भुङ्क्ते तदपि यतश्चान्यः. Bhunkte is not written, bhunke is written, but it should be bhunkte only. Bhunkte tadapi taschanyaha madhuhevarthavin madhu. Meaning of the verse. What the miser accumulates is not used by him, nor given by him to anybody. Somebody else enjoys it, like the honey collector and the rich man who takes it and eats it. 145. The miser does not enjoy, does not give in charity, nor does he give to his family members. He's simply collecting and accumulating, just like the honeybee. 146. Honeybees store honey with continuous hard work, and honeycomb is saturated with it. The world is eager to get it by any means. 147. The honey collectors come along and, not caring about the difficulties in the way, trash the honeycomb. They squeeze the honey and fill their pots. But later on, rich people purchase the honey and eat it. 148. Poor bees do not eat the honey. The collectors only get their hands sticky with honey, but rich purchasers only enjoy its sweetness. 149. Similarly, the money of a miser is like the property of a jealous yaksha. It is not given in charity, nor is it spent for good cause. Robbers beat that man and take away that money, and even the robbers are punished by the king, confiscates that loot. 150. The money is not useful to them who work hard to store it, but somebody else enjoys it. So, this is the strange story of money. 151. Similarly, a householder earns money, gets good food cooked, and a monk who comes as a visitor eats that food without doing anything to earn it and goes away. 152. So, one who surrenders to the will of God never becomes anxious to amass money or any materials. Destiny only works there. The people become frugal and miser. Sukha सुखदुःखोपार्जितैर्वित्तैः आशासानाङ्गृहाशुषः मधुहेवाग्रतो भुङ्क्ते यतिर्वै गृहमेधिनाम्. Meaning of the verse. Like the honey collector, the monk really enjoys the riches of the householders, who have amassed them with great efforts with an intention to enjoy themselves. 153. By doing hard work and providing for household expenses, collecting food grains and other articles, the householder prepares food for his own use. 154. Then, at the time of dinner, some monk or bachelor comes to dine. The householder serves him the ready cooked food and sits there looking at him. 155. That householder is like the honeybees who gather honey by hard work, but that honey is taken away by the men who gather honey in the forest. The food which is ready is eaten by the guest, the begging mendicant, etc. 156. If that monk goes away without being respected and without getting food, it is believed that a lot of merit is lost for the householder. And it is also believed that such a visitor who is given food protects the religion of the householder. 157. Told you the bad effects and dangers involved in amassing money and costly things. Now I shall tell you how a deer is regarded by me as my guru. Please listen. Gramya Geetan Shrunuyat Yatir Vanacharah Kvachit शिक्षेत हरिणा बद्धात् मृगयोगीर्तमोहितात् शिक्षे हरिणा बद्धान् मृगयोर्गीतमोहितात्. Meaning of the verse. An ascetic living in a forest should never hear vulgar songs. He should take this lesson from the deer which gets caught being attracted by the music of the hunter. 158. One who listens to vulgar gossip of lowly people or to vulgar songs of lowly women becomes a captive of that song, etc. 159. A deer gets hypnotized by constant music of the hunter and constant looking at the light thrown on its face and is not aware that it is going to be caught in the snare. 160. Who is there who is not entertained by the song of the singers who are expert in it and who are women of bad character? Like a deer, moved by the song of the hunter, the man is captivated by woman's song. 161. Rishyashringa, who was considered a great man of penance and who had not met any woman in his life, was enchanted by only once hearing the singing of women. Nrityavaditrageetani jushan gramyani yoshita asankridanako vashya rishyashringo mrigisataha. Meaning of the verse. By listening to the vulgar songs of women, looking at their dances, their musical instruments, as well as the vulgar poems, Rishyashringa, a son of a female deer, became a plaything, a toy of those women. 162. A man becomes hypnotized by listening to sweet instrumental music, the songs of vulgar women, and seeing their dances, and becomes obedient to them, tied like a monkey with a belt around its neck. 163. Rishyashringa, who was born to a female deer, was a famous sage of severe penance, but he did not know any woman and had not seen any woman in his life. 164. He was immediately fascinated when he saw women for the first time and followed them and obeyed their orders. 165. He became infatuated to women, a slave as a monkey of a monkey player, and started to obey their commands. He became mad for the young woman and lost all sense of propriety. 166. He forgot all the penance which he had done a lot of troubles. He forgot his father, Vibandaka. He forgot his oath of celibacy and danced at the commands of those women. 167. There is no other trouble in life than the trouble caused by women. Even talking lightly in a joke with women is also not good. The company of women is itself very dangerous. 168. Vulgar songs should not never be heard. They should be completely avoided. Only devotional songs may be sung and may be heard in the ceremony of kirtan without the virtues in the ceremony of kirtana about the virtues of Sri Hari. 169. The songs which deal with vulgar subjects and the name of Ram is not sung in them are called vulgar songs, sung by low class people. One should not listen to them even through curiosity. I think we can stop over here. Tried my best to complete few verses so that in this week only we can complete the chapter. What to say while reading, like woman is this, woman is that, woman is that. It's other way also, huh? It's for a woman also, a man attracting. So may the language may be used like this, but it's for the both, and it's only taken in one sense. Like when we say God, He is up and above, doesn't mean that God is male. Mhm. So it's neither male, neither female. So like that, it's for both. It's not just for the lessons and not just for man. And it is the need of the hour because when we see youngsters now, there is so much confusion for them of identification of their own self also and identification in the social norms also. And they want to try different people before getting into one or not to get into anyone and not have a commitment also. There are so many options. So throughout the reading, the woman is this, woman is that, woman is that, and being a woman reading out loud, we haven't to bring that kind of a ego while reading or taking the scripture. It's applied for both and how many 100 years ago it has been written, and it is so much valid even now. Where the confusion starts, we see the youngsters, not no need to go at that college level. At the school level itself, we see these maturities, that innocence lost earlier itself. Mm. When we see in different countries, different norms, and then we see different crimes held against this, and the government supports so many crimes. We see one that is happening in UK now. Only it has come right under the name of grooming camps and what not is happening. We see how young girls are wedded to the older men, and how they drop any girl and any time. All this is all attraction. All this means when we hear, when we are reading, we're describing the current society, and people don't want to get married. They feel that is a binding. Living is okay. Now, live-in relationship is also not demanded. You can be at various places. Own sex is also not accepted. There are, I heard some 73 or 83 now identifications. So I don't know how many, seven, and we knew only male, female, and neutral, but there are about 73 of them. So, so much lost. The mind, because of this identification, and they don't have a solid backing of a spiritual knowledge or a scripture, something to ground them. Because the mind, wherever the mind is taking, they are going like a cattle field. Huh? Something to yoke them is not there. There is no yoke. So, okay, the sense is saying this direction, that sense has gone in that direction, other sense go. Tomorrow another sense might arise and it will go. So I felt the whole reading, though only one angle is taken, but we say no, only the upastha and the jivha, the two karmendriyas, very difficult to control. So it is all discussion about the senses, I felt, and very deep. I felt while reading this, when we are knowing what to see behind those words and not the words exactly. If anybody has any other thoughts, please share.
No, it's interesting that you talked about karma because I see this also with a lot of my friends' children, right? And it's complete lack of a functional unit of a family. Okay, and there's so much society dysfunction that now forget about. They don't even use the word partnership, right? They're saying situationship. And this thing about like today I feel more like a woman and today I feel like more like a man, and I mean it's such nonsense. I mean it's just inability to conform to just some self discipline, in and it is the root cause of chaos, and
Yes,
it's definitely creating more and more children without grounding, and a society that's more and more chaotic and
yes,
unstable, right? Just unstable.
yes,
Uh, yeah. The other thing, strangely, I thought of Nikhila yesterday talking about hoarding, and that came up today in the example of the bee because it's about hoarding this honey. And I
yes,
thought back also about an incident in my 30s when I just kind of started making some money in Singapore, and I'd started saving, and we went for a private banking event, and I met someone in their 50s at that time who was my age, and I looked at the gentleman and I said, what would what advice would you give to someone who's just starting to save? And he looked at me and smiled and he said, learn to spend your money. And today I've begun to understand that because I just feel, what you make, I mean, no matter how much money you make, its value is ultimately each one's, value for it is based on. Some people get great joy out of saving, and some people just get great joy out of investment, and some people get joy out of sharing it, and some people out of spending it. And it's so, but the key thing is it'll go away, right? So you might as well put
yes.
it to use in whatever way you think is right.
Karmic activities.
Yeah, yeah.
Brahmachari, Vanapastashrami, Sannyasi, they are not earners. It's the Grihastashrami who is supporting the system. So whether we are donating on to a Veda Pathshala to brahmacharis, or we are giving it to some ashramas which hold the vanaprasthis, or we are doing it for any sannyasi, or respecting that, then giving should happen. Giving, but that doesn't come so easily. And then that bhrunga, no, that beetle getting stuck in the lotus, that example also, we get stuck with our attachments. We have so much might, we have so much power, and we make ourselves go limp, thinking I'm so helpless. So that beetle can dig into a wood, it can't dig into a lotus petal. It can, but it is attached to that honey of it. Like that, we have so much power, but we have kept our attachment to something which has weakened us so much that we feel so helpless. Whereas we have got such a power to not only uplift us, but also uplift others along with it. It does not be recognized. So lovely examples to keep on reveling on these, and we should bring and we should apply it in our own lives. Where is our weak spot? Where, which sense we have got attached to where, whether it's taste or upastha or God of the knows smells, some penchant for expensive perfumes or jewelry, or where we have put our attachment, we should find out. Lovely video. Anybody else wants to share any thought?
There was one more thing that came to me. I mean, in this thing about the ability to harness, from any flower, doesn't matter whether it's small or big, and it to just take out of it whatever you can. And I remember Lata saying that there's a guru in every life experience. But I think for me also, it for some strange reason it brought up the Dashavatar, and I don't know why I thought of Vaman, the Vaman avatar, and I thought of the fact that uh, tiny little thing can just put a footprint and take the earth and the sky and the plants. So it was in a different, I mean, metaphorically somewhere I felt a connection, but I just remembered that. So.
Ajivji, Lataji, any thoughts to share?
Yeah, the thought of that, the yogi part where they just filter and take what they need for their basic sustenance and not hoarding things. That was very nice.
Yeah, Hamsa with the milk and water, it can separate and just drink. Very good. Yeah. Beautiful. So tomorrow we continue. We get the next example tomorrow of a fish, and then we continue from 170. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु. Hari Om, everyone. Thank you for joining. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Hari
you.
Om.